भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथं वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमस्ते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णकृष्णाय प्रभुपादाय प्रिय श्री गिरिराजाय स्वामिने सुभक्तराज बिहारी विमुक्तदेशात्मने। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णकृष्णाय श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंगायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरु दीनतारिणं। हरे कृष्ण। So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, and text 14-15. So we read previously about the laws of dharma and how we are held. It's voluntary, you could say that it is voluntary, that we accept to be under the laws of dharma. So I read maybe Jaiva Dharma. So he said that when this jeev comes in this material world, now all types of jeev are coming, right? But there is always a section of Jeev who are ready to follow the instruction of the Lord. And I think we are among them, right? Our good luck. So maybe somebody preached to us or whatever, right? But by default, therefore there is some sanity in this world, right? But there are others who are not ready to follow. So here, Yamaraj is speaking to those who are willing to follow. And this is the system of Varnashram. Right? We discussed last week that in Kali Yuga, the entire system has collapsed. And therefore, what is surviving and what is prescribed for Kali Yuga, the system of Pancharatrika Vidhi, which allow us to have the same benefit as in Varnashram Dharma. And remember that Varnashram Dharma is a stepping stone to Krishna consciousness. So the same facility is being afforded to each and every one, doesn't matter who you are, right? Whoever is willing, as I say, it's voluntary, it's willing. So still we are going to read the system of Varnashram. See, it's not that I will say I am devotee and therefore I'm not within the jurisdiction of the laws of Dharma. All right? Yamaraj is not going to put us to hell. He will say this. But it doesn't mean that we are exempt from the laws of Dharma. Prabhupada said no meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex, and anything, any variety of these, right? And if we break those, definitely there is some reaction. There's delay in the progress. There's delay in the progress. Because those 4 sinful activities, they're activating the Sat Ripu in the heart. Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya, Mad. Right? And if we continue, if we break, this principle, one day we'll become a candidate for Yamaraj, right? It's not that we'll always be exempt. One day, 100%. So text 14:15. Aham Mahendro niriti prachetah somognirisha pavano virinchitah aditya vishve vasavotha sadhya marudgana rudragana sashisidha anye chaye vishvashrijo maresha Brighadyayopsprishtarajastamaskaha Yasyehitam na vidu sprishtamayayah Sattva pradhana pikim tatonye. So a list is given here. All those who are in charge of this universe. I Yamaraj, Aham, I Yamaraj. So Yamaraj starts with himself and say, I, Aham. Indra, the king of heaven, Niriti. Who's Niriti? Not translated. Niriti. Oh, Niriti. I think it's the destruction, the goddess of destruction, is it? Durga? This Niriti. I think it's goddess Durga. Varun. Varun is controller of water, Pracheta. Okay, so the Pracheta Varun, controller of water. Chandra, the moon god, Agni, Lord Agni Dev we know. Lord Shiva, Pavan, meaning the air. Lord Brahma, Surya, the sun god, Vivasvu, Visvasu, the 8 Vasus. Visvasu is who? Of Vishvasu. Oh, no, meaning that's the name of Aditya, right? That's the name of the sun god, Vishvasu. The 8 Vasu, the Sadhya, the Maruts. The Maruts. Did we read about them, the Maruts? I think that the directions, I think the laws of the directions, the Rudras, the Siddhas, and Marichi, and other great rishis engage in maintaining the departmental affairs of the universe, as well as the best of the demigods, headed by Brihaspati. So so Brihaspati is a deva, and he's the best of all the devas. And the great sages headed by Bhrigu. So Bhrigu Adaya. So Amar, those who are Amar, meaning the demigods. Isha, meaning the chief. Bhrigu Adaya. So Bhrigu Muni, the great sages, then are all certainly freed from the influence of the two base material modes of nature, namely passion and ignorance. So these devas, they are in the mode of goodness. Otherwise, you can't become a deva. You can't be known as a deva, right? So nevertheless, although we are in the mode of goodness, we cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What then is to be said of others who, under illusion, merely speculate to know God? Purport. The man and other living entities within this cosmic manifestation are controlled by the three modes of nature. For the living entity is controlled by the base qualities of nature, passion, ignorance. There is no possibility of understanding God. So if a human being is in mode of ignorance and passion, he cannot understand God. Even those in the mode of goodness, like the many demigods and great rishis described in this verses, cannot understand the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the scientists, they can't understand God, right? They think everything came by a big bang. Creation came by big bang. And who's maintaining order in this world? It's material nature. And it's happening on automatically with nobody's control, right? So they can't understand. They are in the mode of passion and they're ignorant, right? The big scientists are actually in mode of tamas. They're ignorant. So you think, how come an intellectual is in the mode of ignorance? He's in tamas. He cannot see the Supreme, he cannot see the hand of God, right? Behind nature. So he said, everything is created by nature, and how did nature come about? A big bang, right? Where are we? Therefore, the Lord personally said that no one can understand him but the bhaktas, who are transcendental to all material qualities. Bhaktyamam abhijanati. Why is it that the devotees, they can understand Krishna and not others? Because they're having a loving sentiments towards Krishna. They're ready to accept Krishna. Whereas the others, they have turned their face away. Bahirmukh. They want to deny the existence of God. As stated by Bhishma Dev to Maharaj Yudhishthir in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.9.16. Nahi asya karhi chitrajan puman veda viditsitam yad vigyasyaya yukta muhyanti kavayo pihi. O king, no one can understand the plan of the Lord. Okay, I think all of us know this. No one can understand the plan of the Lord. Right? Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. Just like I saw this, just pop up. This person is doing an astrological prediction, all right? So he's saying two of them, but I think he must be a Gujarati. So he said, that he's predicted that within the next few weeks there's going to be, like a deluge, there's going to be hurricane, what's that, earthquake, all that stuff. And then he says, but we don't know actually what's going to happen. Only the Vidhata knows. So very nicely, very plainly, he said, according to our calculations, according to what? The great philosophers who is inquiring exhaustively, okay? So how will the philosophers, like we say, Bhrigu Muni and all that, right? So they have their books, right? Like Parasara, right? They have their books. So all that, so they're giving, the rules, because they are actually, all these, they are the controllers of material nature. And like there are so many wars now, this 100% these devas are watching and going to do something, right? So maybe they'll put a volcano in the ocean or make snow fall like it happened. I said last time, what stopped the world war was finally snow, right? Meaning the devas just poured snow and they had to stop. So they intervened, right? So here say that no one can know the plan of the Lord. So see, because he's a pious man, right? He's not like proud and say, yes, yes, I know, then it didn't happen. We say, well, I don't know, you were wrong, right? Or prediction. So disclaimer, he said that according to all calculation and all the scriptures, during when this configuration happened, then this is what happens. So, O king. So this is Bhishmadev who told Maharaj Yudhishthir in Shrimad Bhagavatam 1.9.16, Na hi asya karhichid rajan, puman veda vidhit sitam. Right? You can study all the Vedas, okay? Yad vijigyasaya yukta. Muhyanti kavayo pihi, bewildered. Right? So we expected this will happen, that will happen, nothing happened, right? Because nobody knows the plan of the Lord. So this is very important for all of us, right? We are bewildered. No one therefore can understand God by speculative knowledge. Indeed, by speculation one will be bewildered, muhyanti. This is also confirmed by the Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita 7.3. Manushanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam veti tatvataha. Among many thousands of men, one may endeavor for perfection. And even among the siddhas, those who have already become perfect, only one who adopts the process of bhakti, devotional service, can understand Krishna. So materially and spiritually both, we can't understand Krishna. We don't know how the laws of nature are going to act, right? Even though it's prescribed this way. So that's why Yamaraj is saying the Yamaduta, we have our plan, we decide this is how it's supposed to happen. But finally the Supreme Lord intervened, right? And when he came, he did his own plan. What did he do? He released 2 candidates for hell, right? Pakka candidates for hell. He released them. Who can know the plan of the Lord? Very, very important. See, actually, this Bhagavatam, we have to go on reading. Why? Because our faith, right? As we go through life, we get so much bashed here and there, right? We say, maybe I don't know whether it's true or not. We don't know whether it's true or not, right? So therefore, this Bhagavatam we have to read again and again. the more we read, the more we read, the more we start to see and understand how the universe is working, how the devas are controlling us, how the laws of dharma is binding us, and what is beyond material dharma. Text 16. Yam vena gobhir manasanubhirva Ridha girava subrito vichakshate Atmanamantar didi santamatmanam Chakshu yatheva kritatyas tatha param. Now, these are all, see, this is such mysterious knowledge. Ved is guhyam actually. The Vedas are guhyam. The different limbs of the body cannot see the eyes. Just see what analogy is given. Like my hand cannot see the eyes can see the hand cannot see the eyes, right? The living entities cannot see the Supreme Lord, meaning the Supreme Lord is right there, but I have no eyes to see, right? Who is situated as the Super Soul in everyone's heart? So if I look at each and every one of you, am I seeing the Super Soul? I'm not seeing the Super Soul. I'm seeing whoever body is there, but through Shastra Chakshu. And that's why these paintings are so important. You have an idea that the Super Soul is sitting in your heart, right? And previously we only know that I'm sitting in the heart. Isn't it? No. Super Soul is sitting alongside with the soul. But is that soul and Super Soul one? That again, big mess up. If Prabhupada didn't tell us, we wouldn't have known that soul and Super Soul, there are two souls sitting in the heart. Right? Atma and Paramatma. Not by the senses, by the mind, by the life air, by thoughts within the heart, or by the vibration of words, can the living entities ascertain the real situation of the Supreme Lord. Okay, so meaning by my eyes, right? My sense, my mind, I have to stop thinking. How is it possible? Like Hiranyakashipu, he used his mind and his intelligence, right, to conceive of how he couldn't be killed. He couldn't think of half man, half lion, right? He couldn't think. Or like Ravan, right? Ravan, he asked benediction against everybody except two. Who? Monkeys and humans. He could never imagine that Ramachandra could appear in human form, or that the devas could appear in monkey forms. Right? So the Supreme Lord is beyond the mind and senses, by the life air, my prana, and these thoughts, so even thinking, what happened, like, was it Hiranyakashipu who said, where's Vishnu? He has hidden himself in the heart of his devotee, so he's not visible anywhere, right? Anyway, he's inside, he's lost there, right? So only meaning that only if somebody is thinking of Vishnu, then the Lord become manifest. Just say, if you're thinking of him, then he become manifest. Otherwise, he's nowhere to be seen, right? He's not in control, right? Now, we are so lucky we have studied this Bhagavatam systematically, right? I was just reading Jaiva Dharma, says Bhagavatam, like there are two ways by which you can study. One way is like topical, just here and there. Please, I hope you are not doing this, jumping, from one speaker to the next. All right? So it's a kram. For you to actually, and Prabhupada beginning, he said that this Bhagavatam is to be studied canto by canto, canto by canto, very systematically. So, yes, when we have time, we can hear, one Maharaj is speaking, one Prabhuji is speaking, it's okay. But Bhagavatam has to be here with Kram, systematically, one after the other. Okay. Purport. Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. Just see. Vishnu is directing our bodies, right? The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them, right? If somebody is looking up, what a heart attack it is for me when, we are driving, right? And the driver is looking this way, right? They get diverted, I don't know what happened to them, they are not, and I think, oh my God, I hope, almost accident, or they're mobile. The mobile falls down and they bend to pick up the mobile, right? All this GPS, what you call that? GPS? That's what you call it? My whole life I've been in India. It's such a maze, right? It's a little labyrinth, a maze. Somehow or other you find your way. Isn't it? 100%. Now everybody, the young people, right? All of them. And those who are in technology, the middle-aged men and women also who into technology, immediately put on your GPS, say, my entire life except 5 years ago, everything went fine, right? I used to ask, how do you know where to go? They have mystic power. The drivers actually have a heightened sense of direction. But now we are becoming dependent on machine, and therefore poor drivers, they will walk right past. I'm not joking, it happened with me. Yeah, we are going to Kargar temple, and this young driver, he went right past the temple. He doesn't know how to get to the temple. All right, I say, Hare Krishna, please take a U-turn. All right, and they are looking where to go, how to get into the temple. Right? And he's just a few yards away from the temple. So, how are we going to find the Supreme Lord if everything is going to be technology? However will we accept that there is a Supreme Lord? This Bhagavatam is from time immemorial, right? Can we say it's not relevant to us? Although the different parts of the body do not have the power to see the eyes direct the movements of the body's different parts. The legs move forward because the eyes see what is in front of them. And the hand touches because the eyes see touchable entities. Similarly, meaning that you have to pick up my pen, right? I'm going to touch it, right? So I see what I'm looking for. I'm looking for my pen. So the eyes has to see. And if you have no eyes, then you have to, grow up. And then this is a specific pen, right? It's not an all-you-need pen. Then I have to check which pen is it. Then what color? Oh my God. So those who have eyes are lucky. Similarly, every living being acts according to the direction of the super soul, who is situated within the heart. So this, actually I was saying to grow up in the dark, right? You're just groping in the dark. Why I'm speaking of this? Similarly, every living entity acts according to the direction of the super soul, who is situated within the heart. As the Lord himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, Apohanam sarvasya chaham ridi shanivishto mattah smriti jnanam apohanam cha. This is 15.15. I'm sitting in everyone's heart and giving directions for remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. Elsewhere in Bhagavad Gita it is stated, Ishvara sarva bhutanam riddeshejuna tishtati. The Supreme Lord, as the Super Soul, is situated within the heart. The living entity cannot do anything without the sanction of the Super Soul. The Super Soul is acting at every moment, but the living entity cannot understand the form and activities of the Super Soul by manipulating the senses. The example of the eyes and the bodily limbs is very appropriate. If the limbs could see, they would walk forward without the help of the eyes, but that is impossible. Although one cannot see the Super Soul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. What to do next, what to do next, what to do next, right? When we have to do some service and we are stuck, what do? Devotees, what do? Krishna, please direct. I don't know how to do this. Please direct, and Krishna will give the intelligence, right? What to do, who to contact, and he will make all the arrangements. So I was saying, groping in the darkness. Like I remember I wanted to know philosophy, I wanted to learn, right? And there was nobody to teach. There was absolutely nobody to teach. I don't know how it was in India, but it's by luck that somebody knew something of Bhagavad Gita. And I wanted to know. So Krishna sent Srila Prabhupada, right? In Mauritius, everybody knew Ramayana because they came with the Ramayana. In every household, Ramayana, because you can't live without Ramayana. All your ceremonies is Ramayana, right? Prabhupada came and he brought Bhagavad Gita. A small island. Prabhupada came and brought Bhagavad Gita, and in every household, there's a Bhagavad Gita. So everybody got the Bhagavad Gita, but do they know? Do they understand? So then we start teaching, preaching and teaching. So what I'm saying is that groping in the dark, you want knowledge. You cannot get knowledge, right? And when I was going door to door distributing the books, I was like young, right? So if there is no eyes, and just see what is Prabhupada's mercy in a small island, where at that time there was nothing more than 5 to 8 lakh people. All right? He came twice in just a small island. What is his mercy? And on that island, he had an accident, a car accident. All right. Can you imagine how precious that? And Prabhupada immediately came back to Bombay. And he said that this traveling is very dangerous. So this is the Super Soul, giving the knowledge and his direction. Although one cannot see the Super Soul in one's heart through sensual activities, his direction is necessary. Text 17. Tasyatma tantrasya hare adhikshituhu parasya mayadhipater mahatmanah prayena dutaiha ve manoharas charanti tadrupa guna swabhavaha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is self-sufficient and fully independent, meaning they can do what they want. He is the master of everyone and everything, including the illusory energy. He has his form, qualities, and features. And similarly, his order carriers, the Vaishnavas, who are very beautiful possess bodily features, transcendental qualities, and a transcendental nature, supreme controller. But the older carriers of Yamaraj were very eager to know about the Vishnu Dutas who had defeated them in their encounter with Ajamil. Yamaraj therefore stated that the Vishnu Dutas resemble the Supreme Person Godhead in their bodily features, transcendental qualities, and nature. In other words, the Vishnu Dutas or Vaishnavas are almost as qualified as the Supreme Lord. Yamaraj informed the Yamadut that the Vishnu Duts are no less powerful than Lord Vishnu. Since Vishnu is above Yamaraj, the Vishnu Duts are above the Yamadut. Persons protected by the Vishnu Dut therefore cannot be touched by the Yamdut. Alright. Persons protected by the Vishnu Duta therefore cannot be touched by the Yamdut. Text 18. Bhutani Vishnu Surapujitani Durdarshalingani Mahadbhutani Rakshanti tad bhakti matah parebhyo matahascha martyanatha sarvatascha. The order carriers of Lord Vishnu who are worshipped even by the demigods possess wonderful bodily features exactly like those of Vishnu and are very rarely seen. So Vishnu Dutas are very rarely seen. The Vishnu Dut protect the devotees of the Lord from the hands of enemies. Alright. So we must become proper Vaishnavas. Right? Because the devotees, they are not under the protection of the demigods. They are under the protection of the Vishnu Dutas. So we must make ourselves very qualified. So we should let go of all our demigod worship, right? If we will hold, one side we will hold on the lotus feet of the demigods and on another hand we will hold onto the lotus feet of the Vishnu Dutas, right? There will be confusion, right? Both hands have to be from the devotees, from envious persons. Unfortunately, in this material world, as soon as you are born, immediately there's somebody who's envious of you, right? Shishupal, right? As soon as Krishna appeared, immediately Shishupal was next door, right? Envious. And even from my jurisdiction, meaning Yamaraj, as well as from natural disturbances. So we saw how when this flood came in Vrindavan, right? Those were real devotees. Okay? Those were actual, real, proper devotees. They were going on with their bhajan, right? So those natural disturbances were not for them. Purport. Yamaraj has specifically described the qualities of the Vishnu Dutas to convince his own servants not to be envious of them. See what's happening. You see what's happening. The Yamdutas became envious of the Vishnu Dutas. Correct? Right? This is Yamaraj is saying. So we have to be very careful, extremely careful. We should not let our heart be overtaken by envy because we've been defeated. So we become envious of the other party, right? Yamaraj warned the Yamdutas that the Vishnu Dutas are worshipped with respectful obeisance by the Devas themselves and are always very alert to protect the devotees from all dangerous conditions in this material world. Sometimes the members of the Krishna consciousness society are afraid of the impending danger of world war. Okay, Krishna, Prabhupada has put it down in the book, right? They are so ISKCON devotees are afraid of the impending danger of the world war and ask what would happen to them if a war should occur. Coronavirus happened, right? Gita Konteya Pratijanihi Name Bhakta Pranashyati. Material danger is not meant for devotees. This is also confirmed in Shrimad Bhagavatam. Padam padam yat vipadam natesham. In this material world there are dangers at every step, but they are not meant for devotees who have fully surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Lord. The pure devotees of Lord Vishnu may rest assured of the Lord's protection, and as long as they are in this material world, they should fully engage in devotional service by preaching the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Krishna, namely the Hare Krishna movement of Krishna consciousness. Now comes the famous, super famous verse. Text 9. Dharma tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam na vai vidurishayunapi devaha na siddha muktya asura manusyaha kuto nu vidyadhara charanadayah. Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Person of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods, nor the leaders of Siddhalok, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, vidyadharas and charanas. You know, often gurus are criticized. You know, gurus are Vishnu dutas. All right? When there is quarrel, especially with an expanding ISKCON movement, when there are all types, we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prabhupada writes in the purport, in one purport, he said that ISKCON devotees, in the Krishna consciousness movement, there may be non-devotees. There may be pseudo-devotees. All right? This is what Prabhupada wrote. Okay? So, with such a mixture, all right, neophytes or just pretenders or just fault finders or whatever, in such a huge organization, sometimes gurus or senior devotees or those who are properly trained, right, they will take a decision according to real religious principles. But those who are on the level of Yamadutas, right, they will criticize them, right? They will criticize them, they will question, they will actually question whether this devotee is proper to occupy this post, right? So it's very, very intricate, and the next verse will tell us. Did I complete? We only the shloka, okay. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles. Remember how Bhishma, he says, I don't know what is religious principle, remember? When Draupadi was being disrobed, he says, I don't know what is religious principles, right? And who protested? Mahatma Vidur, right? And who else protested? A son of Dhritarashtra. A son of Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsuh. He protested, and he was the son of a maidservant. He was not within that, he was not even a married, he was not even a married wife, right? He was outside, right? They knew dharma. Yes. All right. So it's so important. Even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles. nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhalok, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas and Charanas. Right? So this war of Mahabharata, when Dronacharya, he defaulted, right? Dronacharya. See, people criticize Krishna, right? They criticize him. How he killed Bhishma, how he killed Dronacharya, how he killed Karna. And when challenged by the Vishnuduts, who describe the principles of religion, the Yamadutas said, Veda pranihito dharmo. The religious principles are the principles enacted in the Vedic literature. They didn't know, however, that the Vedic literature contains ritualistic ceremonies that are not transcendental, but are meant to keep peace and order among materialistic persons in the material world. That's why all their yagya and with Om, Shanti, 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 right? That's the end, that's the extent of their dharma. Real religious principles are nishtray gunya, above the three modes of material nature, or transcendental. The Yamdutas didn't know these transcendental religious principles, and therefore when prevented from arresting religious principles, and therefore when prevented from arresting Ajamil, they were surprised. Oh, they're surprised. How come you stopped it, right? I'm saying gurus, right? When they forgive a disciple or whoever, materialistic persons who attach all their faith to the Vedic rituals are described in Bhagavad Gita 2.42, wherein Krishna says, Veda Vadarataha Partha Nanyat Astiti Vadinaha. The supposed followers of the Vedas say there is nothing beyond the Vedic ceremonies. Indeed, there is a group of men in India who are very fond of the Vedic rituals, not understanding the meaning of these rituals, which are intended to elevate one gradually to the transcendental platform of knowing Krishna. Vedescha sarvem aham eva vidyaha. Those who do not know this principle but who simply attach their faith to the Vedic rituals are called Vedvada Rataha. Herein it is stated that the real religious principle is that which is given by the Supreme Personality, Godhead. That principle is stated in Bhagavad Gita. What is it? Sarva dharmam parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. One should give up all other duties and surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna. That is the real religious principles everyone should follow. And this is what Ajamil did. Right? This is what he did. He surrendered to Vishnu. Narayan, he just got hold of Narayan, right? To say nothing of human beings, even the demigods in the upper planetary systems. Okay, one last verse. Swayambhu Narada Shambhu Kumara Kapilo Manuhu Prahaladu Janako Bhishmo Balir Veya Sakirvayam Dvadasyate Vijanimho Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhava Narada, Lord Shiva, the four Kumaras, the Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti, Swayambhuva Manu, Prahalad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma. Now grandfather Bhishma learnt, right? He learnt. So he became Mahajan. Bali Maharaj also learned, he surrendered, right? Lord Brahma, he did his mistake, he learned. The four Kumaras also, right? They went to the door of Vaikuntha, they learned, right? Janak Maharaj, grandfather, Bhishma, Bali Maharaj. Shukdev Goswami also became devotee from Atmaram stage. So there's hope for us, right? Hmm? Yes, and I myself know the real religious principles. Everybody learned. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavad Dharma, alright, Bhagavad Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by the material Godhead. Hmm? So it's a short purport and which is very well known to all of us. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna refers to Bhagavad Dharma are the most confidential religious principle. Sarva guhyatamam guhyataram. Krishna says to Arjun, because you are my very dear friend, I am explaining to you the most confidential religion. Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraj. Give up all other duties